Welcome back, ProGuides family. It's me once again, Stray, at your service. Hope you guys are doing well and doing your best to climb ranked. Today our video is going to be talking about some misconceptions that you might have in Valorant at the moment. These are beliefs you might currently have that could possibly hinder your growth as a player. I want to go over these and explain why some of these might not be as correct as you may be led to believe. Let's clear things up, shall we? But before we do, of course we have our question of the day. I want to ask you, why do you like playing Valorant? Is it because the game is new and hyped, or do you come from a CSGO background? Or do your friends play? For me, I come from both CSGO and Overwatch, so the mix of abilities and the Counter-Strike mechanics are really appealing to me. I feel like this game combined the two factors extremely well and I have a lot of fun playing it. Mixed with the fact they created some great thematic characters to enjoy, this game seems to be something I will be playing for quite a bit. If you also share that same sentiment, let me know in the comments below. I would love to read them. And on to the video we go, and first up on our list, it's about kills. Have you ever had a teammate who was top fragging and then started flaming the team because they thought the rest of the team was useless? That's a very common occurrence. Well, first of all, towards the viewers, flaming your team is never a good idea and you should never do it. It for sure only lowers team spirit and it'll make everybody play worse than they already are. I want to tell you, don't flame your team. Instead, politely tell them what they should be doing instead to increase your chances of winning. Positivity always gives you the better chance to win and will boost morale for the team. Secondly, I want to mention having a lot of frag doesn't necessarily translate towards the team's success. Of course, kills do have their benefits, like getting ultimate stacks or making opponents lose their equipment. However, there can be a lot of useless kills as well. For example, getting kills when the enemy has a bunch of money and are trying to hunt you down with no chance of winning is just pure stat padding. Unless the enemy is really hurt on money, those kills aren't really helping towards winning the game. Alongside that, eco frags also aren't super important too, but do make your stats look really nice. Eco frags are when the enemies are saving or on a poor half buy and they aren't very well equipped, leading to easier kills. These kills don't do much because they don't really force the enemy to lose anything of too much value. The point of a game like Valorant is to break the enemy's economy as much as you can. So the important kills are the one during gun rounds and pistol rounds, forcing the enemy team to eco. So don't go thinking just because you have slightly less kills that you're doing bad. You can contribute in many other ways in Valorant, such as stalling attackers, flashing, smoking, healing, and gathering intel. All these are extremely helpful in setting up your team. The only time I'd say it's really bad if you have a low amount of frags if you're playing somebody like Jett or Reyna. These characters kind of need kills to be useful as their whole kit is centered around getting kills. Moving on to number 2, we have rank equals skill. Valorant is still very early into release, being around a week since rank came out. This means people are still grinding the game and continuing to get better. People still haven't fully reached their peak, and you shouldn't be so judgmental about players you get matched up with. Even though allies or enemies might be a lower rank than you on paper, they might surprise you with their ability to navigate the game. And if they're doing worse, again, don't be too tough on them, they might just be having a bad game. I just want you to know you should believe in your teammates and yourself no matter what the rank looks like, and do as much as you possibly can to try to win the game. Get out of your mind that rank indicates skill level and just focus primarily on winning. In 3, we have, I've seen this in a tournament, so it for sure works. If you're a big fan of Valorant and you enjoy watching professional play, that's great, but don't think it translates directly into your game. We've seen recently in the T1X Nerd Street Valorant Showdown tournament that some teams decided to completely ignore Sage and not pick it. Teams have been experimenting with this since the latest Sage nerfs, believing it might work out. And it did. But while they did see success with it, pro level play does not compare to the average gamer's experience. In professional play, they are much more coordinated and accurate with their shooting. At the highest levels, kills don't matter nearly as much because most of the time it'll be a headshot and a kill. At lower levels, there's more margin of error resulting in more body shots instead of headshots. So in lower elos, Sage is definitely a must-have to fix up teammates surviving, which is more likely to happen in that elo bracket. To summarize, professional play is a completely different beast than matchmaking. Just because they do something in a tournament doesn't mean it'll translate well in a matchmaking game. Keep that in your heads. And up for 4, we are talking about ultimates. For this, I want to tell you not to be greedy and forever save your ultimate, as it could hinder you from actually using it. I understand the feeling that when I have something as powerful as an ultimate, I want to make it fat. If I have Ray's ultimate, I want to get like 5 people with it, but simply put, that just isn't realistic. You won't be getting an ace every time you pull the rocket out. Instead, try going for 1 or 2 consistently every time you do pull out the bazooka. Put yourself in good positions to use your ultimate when it's up and learn what situations are good to use it in. The more frequent you use your ultimate, the more impact you will have on the game unless you completely whiff or have no understanding of when to use your specific ultimate. For ultimates, you want to build them as fast as you can with kills and ultimate orbs. After you fully stack your ultimate, you want to use it whenever you see the opportunity so you can reset your ultimate stacks and continue building it again. This is called ultimate economy. Learning this will greatly help you in your ranked adventures. So just to reiterate, don't be greedy and think that you need to hit a huge ultimate to get value out of it. Usually 1 or 2 kills is just fine, and even soloing with them is great as you can buy enough time for rotations. If you want to learn more about situations on when to ultimate, be sure to visit ProGuides.com for coaches willing to help you out. In 5, we have the hated phrase baiting. Baiting is when somebody is waiting behind their teammate for them to take first contact, and then after the teammate dies, that person swoops in and gets the kill. While baiting is generally a negative term and looked down upon, it's actually not always bad. It can actually be pretty useful sometimes. There are situations where baiting can be used to completely turn around. For example, let's say it's a 4v2 retake and the 2 attackers are playing in the same corner hidden away. In this situation, baiting is actually extremely good. The first attacker should peek while the second one hides. If he gets a kill and then dies, it's fantastic. It then becomes a 3v1, and the defenders retaking the site won't expect a second person in the same exact spot. This gives that last person huge clutch potential with proper trigger discipline. This is a case where baiting is actually a positive and would win the round for the attacking team. So for this, I just wanted to clear up that baiting is not always bad. There are situations where it's extremely useful, but for the most part, try not to do it as much in normal situations. Coming up in number 6 is tier lists. Just because you saw a pro release a tier list doesn't mean you can't play certain agents that aren't S++ tier. While some agents are considered to be better in competitive play, all agents are very viable and each have their own strengths. Like for example, even if Viper is on the bottom of every tier list right now, poor Viper, she still could be used to dominate a game. Let's say TENS or Skadoodle was operating her, they would still know how to fully utilize the agent and maximize their chances of winning. What matters the most is the skill of the player using the agent, not as much as how good the agent is. I want all of you to keep that in mind. If you have good aim and game knowledge, you will be able to operate any agent no matter who it is. I want to tell you, if you had any concerns picking up a character as your main because you saw a tier list, drop them. Instead, focus on mastering that agent, and with that, it'll help you improve and grow as a player. After learning that agent, if you feel like it's not your playstyle or you feel restricted by the agent, feel free to pick somebody up. Just don't let other people's judgment cloud your own on what agent to pick up. But of course, if you're playing ranked, pick things that fit your team composition. If you have Brim and Omen, it probably won't make sense to pick Viper as they are all controllers. You'd probably want to pick another important role to round out your team comp. And number 7, it's been clarified many times, but resolution doesn't give any advantages as all in-game models are the same no matter what resolution. Sorry to all the CSGO players, but it seems like there's no reason not to be on 16:9. To add alongside that, I want to also mention CROSSHAIR as well. For those changing your CROSSHAIR all the time thinking it will give you some sort of advantage, well, it won't. Frankly speaking, good aim comes from practice and a lot of experience. If you want to become better at Valorant, spend less time changing your settings and instead going to the practice range and training your aim. Go obtain that baguette. In 8th, we have high sense or DPI. If you watch pro players play, you might notice that some play at pretty high mouse sensitivity. They look super cool flicking from target to target, but I want to tell you that playstyle might not be the fit for you. Higher sensitivity on the mouse requires a lot of practice and training to master. I always compare it to like driving a fast car. The faster the car, the better skill you need to control it. If you can't control it, it'll only lead to crashing and failure. If you guys don't know already, I want you guys to calculate your EDPI, which is your DPI multiplied by your in-game sensitivity. EDPI is effective DPI, and Pro's effective DPI ranges from 150 to 500, so if you have anything higher than that, you might want to lower it if you're having trouble controlling your aim. This is a big part of your gameplay, so I want you to understand that having lower effective DPI might make your aim more consistent and making it easier to land headshots with. With more steady control over your mouse, there's less margin of error. Lower sense also helps improve crosshair placement as well, so it builds good habits rather than relying on flicking to everything. I really recommend you to go for that 200 to 400 range if you're looking to get consistent. Of course though, changing your sensitivity won't magically solve all your problems. You'll still need a lot of practice to improve your aim, but in the long term, you'll see fantastic results. And there you go for today, 8 misconceptions you might have had in Valorant all explained. Did you perhaps have any before this video? If you did, hopefully we explained it well enough for you to understand. If you did learn something, please consider supporting our videos by liking and subscribing. If you haven't already, also answer our question of the day and tell us what videos you'd like to see more of in the future. It's been great as always. My name is Trey and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Much love and peace out.